back. We're here with Aaron from IC Lights. Aaron, how are you?
I'm doing great this morning. How are you?
Doing good. It's excited to be here. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited about what this is going to bring, and it's going to be fun. It's going
Of
to be a fun time.
course, yes. And so you started IC Lights around 3 years ago. What kind of sparked the creation of this business?
So, what kind of spark did it bring? It revolutionized our company, right? So, we're a pressure washing company by trade, but there was a big void in our business model, and that was the winter, right? So, we're down, weather permitted, from December, January, February, March, April,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, damn, there's 5 months out of the year, so all the money that we would accumulate during our season for pressure washing, we're back to zero come spring. And so I was like, this is like a dog chasing its tail. Like, what do we do? And about two and a half years ago, we were bickering back and forth, my brother and I, holiday lights or snow removal. And finally, I came up with a plan. It's like, okay, we set a date. By that time, you come up with a business plan for snow removal. I'll come up with a business plan for holiday lights. That day came. My brother didn't bring anything to the table. I had this huge game plan, right, for holiday lights, and we ran with it. And our first season was so much better than we could ever expect, to the point where it's here to stay. You know, it was like a trial run at first, but our first year, our goal was 5 houses. We ended up doing about 40. And it's like, whoa, there's a demand for this service, because we found that people enjoy holiday lights, but they don't enjoy the work that goes into it. I don't blame them. But that's why IC Lights was born, and it is here to stay, and we're really excited about the future of that company.
And it's very interesting because you wouldn't think holiday lights, right? You kind of look at holiday lights and you wouldn't think that's like a profitable business, or like that's even like a business someone would want to start. So it's very interesting. And with you pivoting from the power washing to now the holiday lights and the landscaping lights, what was it like changing industries?
Man, I tell you what, it's hard, right? Because now you have to learn a whole nother business, and trying to run one business was hard enough. Now I'm running 2,
Yeah.
right? So now there's multiple factors going in. There's separate, transactions. Long story short, it was difficult. And we've adjusted as much as we can forward, because when we do anything, if I do anything, we want to be the best, or not even just be the best, but I want to be knowledgeable. And trying to just shove information down my throat as much as I can as fast as possible is difficult, because it's very hard with pressure washer, but it's like, okay, let's do that again with holiday lights, and let's do it again with landscape lights. Like, what a great idea. But it has been difficult, but we're doing it, right? And so it's fun, because I love learning. I've always craved about it. I always like found myself as being like a nerd growing up, and like I was like, hey, let's push that to the side,
Yeah.
right? But as I've gotten older, dude, being a nerd's cool, all right? You know, it's nerds run the world, and having that ability to being gifted with the ability to have a knack for learning, and being able to actually comprehend what I'm learning, and then being able to apply that to a business, and then also on top of that, just the type of people that my brother and I are, is just really amplifies our business, because we care.
Yeah.
We're going to bring the best service, and the vehicle of being holiday lights and landscape lights just so happens to be just a great vehicle. And I never, like I said, never thought it would be as profitable as it can be, and just the demand for it is just absolutely insane.
Yeah. And landscaping and holiday lights seem like a very straightforward industry. How do you guys go ahead and find like innovative ways to stand out?
Very, very good question. I'll start with landscape lights. We were trained by Gross Electric. They're a company here locally in Toledo. And the first day of training, there's like, you, and you are all going to have different layouts for a house up front. So it is straightforward. However, it's an art, because you're going to come up with a different landscape lighting design than I'm going to come up with. And it doesn't mean that it's wrong. But what's cool about it is that I'm able to kind of put what I think my type of like lighting, my design, my uniqueness, and that I really enjoyed. I never thought that would be a thing, because I thought it would always be like straightforward cookie cutout. But with different fixtures and different types of attachments you can use for landscape lights, you can really look at a house and be like, I knew who did that house because of the way those lights are put on, right? For holiday lights, always a bulb at the peak, right? So like, what does that mean? At the peak of a house, if there's not a bulb at the top, we didn't do it, right? We're very adamant about the small things.
Yeah.
Having a bulb at the peak at every peak is important, and then also having like symmetry on both sides of the house. When we wrap trees, we don't just randomly wrap them. We actually use our hand as a guideline. So like we'll wrap, move our hand up, we'll wrap there, and we continue to. So it's the little things, right? Because people are paying for a premium service, and it better be a premium service that they're getting from us. And doing little things like that just amplify and separate us from our competition. Uh, it's great, and it's not as straightforward as I thought it would be, but we enjoy the challenge.
And I think it's always kind of cool to see every industry because everything has its own niche, right? Like everything kind of has its own rabbit hole that you can go down. If that's lights, if that's business, if that's gaming, like whatever like it might be, everything kind of has its own like niche and things that you learn. And what's that creative process like when you're going to put on holiday houses onto people's houses?
Yeah, so it was finding the niche of the industry was cool, but we really simplified our process, and we use the acronym DIMMERS, right? So we design, we install, we maintain, we remove, and we store lights. That is probably the most simplistic way I can tell somebody of like what our service does, because I could talk your ear off all day if I
Yeah.
wanted to about like what we do, but at the end of the day, that's what we do. We design, install, maintain, remove, and store, and we lease lights out. And you'll find that other companies you could buy their lights. We don't. We don't use customer-owned lights. We use our own, and we've really simplified that model for us, and it's made it pretty straightforward.
And you've also been investing back into your business, buying better wreaths, buying better lights, etc. Why did you guys decide to invest back into the business?
What a great question. Reason being is because we want to always increase our service and increase our value that we bring to the table, because I come from a low middle income family, right? So I don't have a whole bunch of money when we first started this company. And the fact that we're actually starting to make a profit, I'm able to reinvest back into the company to show our customers that we care and to bring more value to the service that we bring. So using the reefs as an example, we buy locally for the reefs and we make them ourselves. I enjoy that. However, there is a company that offers commercial grade reefs that really they're beautiful. They're just the simplest, like they're just absolutely gorgeous. They blow our reefs out of the water. And if we can show a customer that's had a reef for, let's say, 2 years now, and all of a sudden we don't charge them an additional fee, but we slap on a brand new, beautiful reef, that's going to bring them value. That's going to make them feel good. Like, oh, wow, look at that. Like that reef looks way better than last year. Well, yeah, because like we're able to actually reinvest back into the company. And something else that we're doing this year is we're getting these little O-rings, because when you have a socket and a bulb, you just twist it and we're good to go. However, we're putting O-rings onto our socket so water doesn't get in there. It hasn't done anything to our lights yet, but I'm sure sitting water and snow inside like where the connection is made isn't good. And so like long term, it's going to ruin our equipment. So like doing little things like that the customer probably will never see. They're not going to go inspect those lights, but we know it keeps our product lasting longer because we use commercial grade lights exclusively, and then showing values like the reefs that like, okay, this company is really continuing to they're not just taking my money and not caring, right? Because we're offering a premium service, and including that is going to show that we continue to bring value to them.
And it shows you guys actually, like, you guys focus on the small things. It's not like, hey, we're going to go slap lights on your house. It's like, we're going to look at every little thing that we do, and we're going to see how can we improve over the years so that the customer can know, hey, like, I'm not getting the same service every year. I'm going to get something that's better and better because they actually care. And then it shows them that you want to be doing this long term, into the future. This is not just like a one and done type thing. And with those customers that you've had since the beginning of your journey, how do you go about supporting those clients that supported you early on?
Yeah, fair. So there's a couple of things, right? First off, very transparent. When we first started, our prices were much lower than they are now. So those people that took a chance on us at first, we price lock or price guarantee that we're never going to increase their rates on them. So if they were with us from 10 years down the line, their price is still going to be the same that it was now. That's our way of like saying thank you for choosing us and seeing what we could do. And then those people that their first time buyers is in 10 years, I guarantee you our prices are going to be way higher than they are currently. And then on top of that, what we also do is every year we give all of our 3-year customers a gift, right? And that's where we really enjoy of like because it's the holidays. You know, you're in the mood for giving. And last year we took a professional picture of everyone's house, sent it to them in the mail, and wrote like a handwritten thank you note. This year I'm not going to share what we're doing quite yet, but we're always looking to continue to bring value to our customers to make them feel important, and not there just to you know take their money and run. We're not about that, and really focusing on the small things of it, up improvements, and just having a customer relationship is so important. And what I mean by that is we find that some clients after year one want to change their colors of lights. Like let's say a house had all warm white, but like, hey, this year we want to go with like the winter wonderland, which is like maybe blue, blue, white, white. Yeah, sure. We're not going to increase your price on that. We'll take care of you for that because we're giving you a service, and as long as those lights aren't hung yet, we will change it to whatever bulb that you want, right? So it's fun. I really enjoy the fact of it's like a more of a relationship I get to build with
Yeah.
customers and figure out like what they like, and hopefully in the future continue to build upon that.
And you worked as a server back in 2015.
Heck yeah.
What lessons did you learn working in the working in the service industry that then transitioned into owning a business?
Oh my gosh, I think it owning a business it's its own beast, right? However, picking up on the skills of how to actually listen to what the customer is saying, because they can be mad, like stuff happens, especially in the restaurant when it's really busy. And you have to really put the emotion aside and really focus on what they're actually mad about, and not focusing on the problem, but focusing on a solution. So, like, I'm sorry that that happened. How do we fix this, right? Other things that has really been able to amplify me is multitasking, right? So let's say I have a section, I have like 5 or 6 tables. I'm talking to a table, but in the corner of my eye, I can see that one of my other tables needs a drink refill. Just like putting that in the back of my brain and doing that day in and day out, and like remembering the small things, and like being able to efficiently multitask, because not just caring about my tables, but also seeing if like our staff or anyone else needs help, because it's a team effort, right? And being able to transition that and take those skills that I learned and apply it to a business, you're almost doubling down on your character and the values that you bring, and hopefully that those are the right things to do and to say. And I'm not saying I'm right all the time, because I definitely am not, but I can definitely say that I really enjoy the perspective that I can bring to the table to show people on our team and to the customers that we do care, and to really focus on if there is a problem, how do we fix it? Or how do we make your server, how do we make your time with us better? And if it's already good, how do we make it great, right? How do we continue to always push that envelope to make it as best as possible?
And I think it really shows you like, wow, the customer, like that, the customer service aspect of it, of wow, business is not, it's not all about just the product. It's more about, how you treating the customer, like the multitasking like aspect, especially running a business and being a small business. And what is one trait about your brother that you now admire after starting a business with him?
Oh my goodness. The one that sticks out that is just really and easy for me to say is his work ethic. Um, it is ridiculous, and sometimes I feel like I'm just just running him dry. But I tell you what, his background is he used to build cell phone towers out in Oregon, excuse me. Used to work in the oil fields of North Dakota. He used to drill here locally for like what's in the dirt before people start building. So he's always been very labor intensive, and having a person on this side, whether it's my brother, just amplifies it, but having that person on my side that I know is going to bust their ass, and also if something happens they're going to either tell me or tell the customer, is so important, because we've been in business for almost 4 years. Well, with the pressure washing too, stuff has happened, but we've also been able to be like, hey, this happened, we're going to take care of it. Having that trust factor is very important, but I would say definitely at the end of the day, my brother's work ethic is something that I can't believe. It's unmatchable. It really is.
And disc golf has been a huge part of your life. And back in 2021, you won an award for best sportsmanship. Where does this desire come from to want to uplift the people around you?
Because you get so much from giving, right? And I really enjoy the fact of, in the disc golf community, people gave me so much when I first started, like tips, tricks, discs, driving me to tournaments. tournament directors paying for my fee because I was a kid. And the best way I can give back is by being grateful and also just like returning the favor and returning the value that people gave to me, because trying to take stuff not for granted is hard, but like reassuring or reminding myself of like these people didn't have to do that, right? I enjoy that, and just being able to apply the type of person that I am, and knowing that sometimes disc golf is just an out for some people. Some people it's very competitive, but sometimes it might be just like getting away from reality for a second and just enjoying your time with the boys on the course,
Yeah.
right? And I don't want to be a downer on the course, and so being able to give them a kudo, like, hey, bro, nice shot. Like, yeah, bro, it's a sick shot. You know, I've always enjoyed that aspect, and I've always enjoyed just seeing like disc fly and using disc golf as an outlet to get away from reality or to like blow off some stress has been always just beneficial for me. And thankfully, the community has valued me enough to think that I'm a pretty cool person to make me Sportsman of the
Yeah.
Year, right? So I've done stuff for the community because the community has always had my back, so why not have theirs?
And can you walk me through how you live a life where you feel most fulfilled?
I think for me, I haven't got there yet. But the path that I want to go down that I think will make me most fulfilled is being able to give back. I do that in small doses with the little that I have currently, and it feels good because people are way less privileged than us. And I try to remind myself of that, because going back, like my childhood wasn't the best from a monetary standpoint, right? And it's not all about money. Uh, and being able to give back, because everyone has their own story, everyone has their own shit that they're dealing with, and I don't want to add to that if I don't have to. And so just being grateful in the moment for what I have, I know is more than others, and I always try to remind myself of that. And it's something that I really pride myself on. Like, for example, this is going to sound ridiculous, but in my cabinet upstairs, we have like water flavors, all of the Kroger brand water flavors. And there's some of them that Allie doesn't enjoy at all. But like for me, I'm like, remember where you came from, you know? Like, so
Yeah.
like a flavor that I don't enjoy, like get through it, right? It's a water flavor. Like stupid things like that. It sounds dumb, but like it really reminds me of like, just life isn't as hard as it used to be, and being able to continue to be on that trajectory where things are slowly getting easier. I can only imagine with the vehicle as the business of where we're going to be, and being able to increase the money that we have coming in, increase the profit margins that we have coming in, and being able, how are we going to be able to give back, right? Because people don't know how much they care until you do something, because chalk is cheap, right? And I've always I've always learned that actions speak louder than words. And so being able to physically or do something in the physical world to give something back to a customer, to a fellow disc golfer, to a fellow server at a restaurant, you give, so you get something when you give, right? And I've always been grateful for what I feel for giving something away, whether it's money, a service, an ear, right? It really amplifies your relationship with that person, and it makes the world just easier.
Yes. And I like how you take that perspective of like things aren't where I want them to be, but they're better. They're improved. They're not, maybe I'm not the most fulfilled, but I'm more fulfilled than I was when I was younger. So
Mm-hmm.
I like that perspective. And I have two more questions for you.
Absolutely.
If you could have dinner with two people, one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
I'll save the past for the last. Present? That is such a good question. Because we have been talking about disc golf, I'll probably run with a disc golfer, and my person that I would pick would be Simon Lizotte. Very friendly from what I've seen. Really, really down to earth, cool guy. Does a lot of trick shots. He's from Germany. Plays here like exclusively, and I used to watch a lot of his vlogs growing up of like how to have better form for driving, and just like the vlogs that he posts, and you can see his perspective on things. Like it seems really cool, and I think like being able to just have a real like a conversation with him, a one-on-one would be super interesting, for lack of better words. For the past, I'm going to choose my uncle. My uncle passed away when I was in junior high, and I've been always told that I'm a lot like him. And as a kid, you only see one side of things, and as an adult, things change. And often I'm reminded that I look like him, that I'm like, man, his kid, and I act like him. And he was an entrepreneur as well, and he had a pretty successful business. And being able to sit down and have a conversation with him as an adult and seeing like from a business perspective, as a family perspective, like I really think that would be amazing to have, because he was pretty cool from what I remember. And losing him was hard for the family, but having dinner with him for just one time, I'd give anything in the world for that.
I love that. That's awesome. I have one more question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you decide to partner with us and offer the discounts?
Yeah, we decided to partner with you and offer discounts because of, one, we enjoy that. It's also giving back, right? This whole podcast about giving back to our customers, our services, like this is a way that we're able to. And at the same time, I believe in your guys' service, and I believe in what you're pushing. And as examples, as you've already connected me with 3 people, right? So you are trying to make connections, and going back to like talk is cheap, like, okay, that's one thing, but you're actually doing, right? And so I believe in you, and I believe in your service, and I believe in the business model that you guys are pushing in. I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, you said this is what, podcast 63?
63, yeah.
63. Yeah. And so, I mean, if that was like maybe 2, like, okay, whatever, but you're at 63, right? And just based on conversations that we've had in the past, you kind of have like similar values of like how to continue to get better, and like what can we do better from your standpoint, and it really aligns with our values. So like, why not, right? Yeah. I really enjoy it, especially like this is the first time I've ever sat down on a podcast and someone wanting to learn more about our business. So I really enjoy what you bring to the table, and the company that you're using as a vehicle to promote is great.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Well, that's all the questions I have. How can people find you guys, and what is one thing you want to leave people with?
Yeah, absolutely. So to find us, you guys can Google search IC Lights, or you can just type in iclights.us. We're going to be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, but we don't use Twitter, so just axe it. And then we have yard signs, and we also are the official sponsors of Toledo Farmers Market. So if you ever go downtown, you're going to see our banners down there. That's a good way to get in contact with me. But the best way to reach out to us is via our website. And then, what was your second question?
What is one thing you want to leave people with?
The one thing I want to leave people with is that the motto that I live by is to leave something better than you found it. And if people had that perspective more, I think the world would be a better place. Because I heard that maybe about 10 years ago, and it completely changed the way I view things. And so, yeah, leave something better the way you found it is what I would tell them.
I love that. Well, Aaron, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.